What I want to talk about in this video is the minor pentatonic and the minor blues scale. Both scales are very similar. Obviously, there's only one note of a difference between the two. And you could probably also call them, the rock scales, because you can find them in almost any rock song for the past 20 or 30 years. What I really want to do in this video is explore different ways to play the minor pentatonic and the blues scale, and also to kind of combine the two in sort of a hybrid approach. But just to review, I'm going to show you the minor pentatonic and the blues scale in the kind of classic shape, okay? We're playing in the key of E on a standard tuned guitar, so I'm going to start on the 12th fret. And here is the minor blues scale. So very similar, but also very popular and conventional. You probably have played those shapes maybe once or twice yourself, and you might be very comfortable with those shapes. So we're not really going to dive into those shapes that much. What I want to do is build upon that. But first, the concept that I want to talk about is merging the blues and the minor pentatonic. Kind of like a hybrid scale. We're going to kind of create a new scale in a sense. So if you haven't noticed already, the minor pentatonic and the blues scale, all scales that go across all the 6 strings, usually travel through 2 different octaves. And what I mean by that is that you get to a point and then you start repeating the same notes over again. So the minor pentatonic is a 5-note scale. Pentatonic means 5-note. So this is basically the scale. You get to that point, and that's the end of the scale. You're basically now repeating things. But we can kind of utilize that in an interesting way. We can do, what I'm going to do now is do the minor pentatonic in the first octave, and then in the second octave, I'm going to add the blues note, and it's going to look like this. Now on top of that, we're going to create a 3-note per string pattern, which is kind of cool because it'll give off the illusion that there's more notes in the scale than there actually are. So here is the 3-note per string shape for the hybrid scale. We're still doing minor pentatonic in the first octave, and then the blues scale in the second octave. So there you go. Right then and there, it already kind of sounds like if you played that fast, you could tell it would give off that sense that you're running through, a very complicated scale run, or a big wide open scale. But you're really not, and because of that, you're hitting a lot of double notes, which I think is kind of cool. It's a unique quality of the guitar as an instrument. You can't hit the same note in the exact same pitch on the piano, for example. So in this shape, right there, that's the same note, same pitch. Same note again, or same pitch and same note. There it is again, and now we're into the second octave. So that section, you don't encounter the same pitch and the same note, because you're filling in the blues note there. But you go back up in the high B string, and then you are encountering that again. So just something to be mindful and aware of. But some people would say that you want to work around that, and you can. There are ways to work around that, but I think it's fine. I think it's a pretty cool approach, and it might as well embrace the unique quality of the guitar that you can even do that. You can't do that on other instruments. The other kind of twist to this is now we're going to play in drop D. Here is the new shape. So you notice we're not starting on the 12th fret anymore. We're starting on the 10th fret of the low, what was the low E string, which is now, I guess, technically the low D string. So you're not starting off on the root. You're starting on the last note in the scale, which for theory people out there is the flat 7th, the minor 7th note, right before the root, which is okay. You're not even going to notice this. This is kind of meant for, you know, speed runs and things like that. But that's cool too, because now for the 6th, the 5th, and the 4th string closest to you, you have the same finger pattern. You have your index finger on the 10th, your middle finger on the 12th, your pinky on the 15th. And that's the same for the first 3 strings closest to you that you're playing in the sequence. And then now the top is the same as last time. So that's the concept. It's pretty cool. Definitely you can get more mileage out of the minor pentatonic and the blues scale that way. Now also, just to build on this concept, I'm going to show you a shape right beneath that shape, right below it, and a shape right above it. So you can see now that that blues note is now down here. So that is the shape below, and here's the shape above, and we are starting again on the 12th fret. So now each time in these 3 different shapes, that blues note that adds a little bit more character is in 3 different spots within the scale sequence, within the fretboard in general, and different octaves. You have 3 different octaves of this blues note. So it's pretty cool, and you can only imagine the amount of variations and sequences you can utilize this approach with. You can write licks, you can write some cool riffs even with this. Another advantage to being in drop tuning, which is pretty cool, is now if you want, in certain circumstances, you can do 4-note per string kind of legato runs. I mean, this is really a legato driven thing. You can definitely do speed picking, economy picking, all that kind of stuff, but legato runs would be kind of a cool way to do this. It sounds, you know, the most impressive, I think, when you do it legato. So you're going to hit open string on the D because it's in the key. Now you hammer on that shape that I showed you before, 10th fret, 12th fret, 15th fret, with your index, middle, and pinky. And you can do that for the next one, open A string, 10th, 12, 15, with your index, middle, and pinky. And you can do the same thing with the D string. So, kind of sounds like this. So that's really cool. I mean, that obviously adds a lot more mileage to this concept. You're just adding notes at this point, but you're really not. Like I said, it's kind of all an illusion. You're not adding any different fresh notes to the scale or anything. You're still working with the same 6 notes. And that's the interesting thing to kind of get your mind wrapped around, is that with everything that I've showed you, you're only playing 6 distinct notes in just repeating fashion or lower and higher octaves. But that's the cool thing about this approach to the pentatonic and the blues scale. And if you want to get even more interesting with it, even the G string is a note in the minor pentatonic in the key of D. So you can even, you know, utilize the open G string in a run. So there you go. A lot of cool different ideas, a lot of different things you can do with this.